Okay, I think we are ready to go. Some people might be late, but we are not going to wait for them. My name is Zoe, and I'm the German mother of the House of Elle, and also part of the Shapes and Shades collective. And I have the honor to host our third and last panel talk for this year of our series called Capitalism and Ballroom. The first episode was dealing with how accessible is ballroom. And we had a conversation with ballroom promoters from different parts of Europe mostly. The second edition dealt with the commodification of ballroom and how to make profit with this. And we had people like Caesar Alpha Omega, Carlos Basquiat, and Gigi Revlon on the panel to talk about, okay, how to make money as a ballroom performer or as a ballroom artist, and the good parts and the bad parts of it for us as individuals, but also for the community, and what to be mindful of. And now this is maybe going to be my favorite topic because this is something we talked about a lot as a collective, and we talked also a lot about this topic within the community, or I at least know that this is a topic people have been talking about. It was because it was very controversial over the past years. We had a lot of discussions about the realness categories and the beauty categories. So we decided, why not invite a few beautiful experts to talk about this issue and share their perspective on beauty and female beauty expression within ballroom and also beyond, obviously. And for this conversation, we have invited four amazing women from Europe and the US. And I would like to introduce you yourself. I'm going to start with my sister, legendary mother Naimah Elle. Wee!
Hey guys, my name is Mother Naimah Elle, legendary Mother Naimah Elle. I'm the mother of the Dutch chapter. Yeah, you guys, I feel like some of you guys know about me. Um, my categories are body, sex siren, used to be performance girl, not anymore, and realness. I've been in ballroom for over 15 years. I found out about it in 2008. And yeah, it's a little about me.
Thank you so much. And maybe really quickly, what are you doing outside of ballroom? Like, what is your occupation?
Right now, I just take care of my mom and I do modeling full time.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Thank you. So let's move on to Miss Amani, the rising star of the UK scene. Please introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Amani. I currently walk drags performance. I'm from the UK ballroom scene, and I've been in ballroom since 2018. I say 2019, but like 2018 is the truth. Um, what do I do outside of ballroom? I am a freelance artist and a community organizer, specifically for queer, trans, Somalis, and Muslims in UK.
Thank you so much. Moving on to the international princess of the house of Miyake, Mugler, Miss Aitana. Please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. I'm Aitana Miyake Mugler. I'm 24 years old. I work tech siren, folk femme, and sometimes wellness. Uh, yeah, what I do beside of ballroom, I am a professional dancer, and I also have my own wig business. So I sell hair and wig. Listen.
Okay, thank you. And last but definitely not least, the icon, the overall mother of the House of Balenciaga, the face, Shanon. Please introduce yourself.
I am Shannon Balenciaga, the overall mother of the House of Balenciaga. I am the skin innovator, the CEO, the founder. I am the face goddess, the queen of all queens, the mother of all mothers,
You
and
are.
the first, then the one of one, only one. And you guys, I will thank you for having me today. Thank y'all for supporting, and I love all the love that I have received and I'm able to give back.
Yes, thank you so much. Really, that was also shout out to you, Shanon. It was very last minute that we asked you, and you were like super professional and quick responded. And really, I think you are adding something very special with your experience, also coming from the US scene, you know, where like, yeah, the roots of ballroom are. So it's very important for us to have your perspective in this conversation. And we also picked you thinking about, okay, we want to have different generations, different countries, different categories, you know, and also different occupations. So you all can share your views. So we have like we have diversity in the room, although we are all Black femmes, but coming from different walks of life. So, in this conversation, we want to explore the influence of beauty in different categories of ballroom, such as face, but also body, maybe also sex siren, realness, but overall, because beauty is like omnipresent, and it's something ballroom is a highly aesthetic culture, and we all love beauty. So, but it's also in a way, because it can be liberating to be in ballroom, but it can also be, since there's a lot of reproduction happening, it can also be oppressive sometimes, you know, like, because it's like, okay, you want to thrive for authenticity, but there's also perfection, you know, that sometimes creates limits. So we want to unpack that, and what does it mean for us as a community, and how can we move forward into what does the future of ballroom holds in terms of beauty. And the first very, very open question, you don't all need to answer, but whoever wants to go first, is why does ballroom love beauty?
Let me start off.
Okay, I thought so.
The ballroom loves beauty because we are rooted in a culture of color. And society was told us that our color isn't beautiful. No matter what shade you are, no matter what your background, no matter where you come from, whatever angle of the world, you were told that you wasn't beautiful. And so this was a activity for us to showcase our beauty. And beauty can range from your looks to your clothing, to your presentation, to your walk. We find beauty in every aspect, even the dance form of Vogue, the art form of Vogue. There's a beauty in it. And so that was something that we chose to do. We could come to a place and celebrate our beauty from head to toe, from movement to speak. It was our beauty. So that's why it was important.
Preach. Thank you. Does anybody want to add on that? Although there was a very good answer.
I don't know how anyone can follow that.
Already went like deep.
No, I mean, I completely agree. I think if I can just add as well, I'm basically saying the same thing that Shannon just said. I think for me, the reason why Ballroom loves beauty so much is because when we come to the ball and ballroom, we imagine the most realized version of ourselves. And we usually see a lot of beauty in that. And also because ballroom was born out of resistance, it does, and out of resistance, it does also have this political side to it that Shanon just spoke about. Oops, sorry, that Shanon just spoke about. And also it's inherently rooted in pageantry culture and pageant culture. So it's also a mix of all of those things is the reason why Ballroom loves so beauty. More Ballroom loves beauty.
Definitely. Definitely. And ballroom also pulls out beauty, you know, this is really something that I experienced. So coming to the next question, because we have a lot of questions. So how does the beauty standard, this is the question that I think Shanon can probably answer best, but obviously everybody feel free to say something, to say their part. How have beauty standards for feminine expression evolved within ballroom culture from its roots in the drag scene, starting in the 1920s, to the underground ballroom culture of the 80s and the 90s, and now also mainstream culture? What was the development of the standards?
To be honest with you, I think the standard has been the same. I think we as people of color have always strived to be perfect in our beauty. And we have always tried to define our own beauty. I think as generations go on, the standard increases, like the goalposts keep moving. Um, and it changes because you can look at each generation. If you go back and look at Paris is Burning, you see what Dawn Curry said, how it went from pageantry to models. Now, fast forward from Paris is Burning to now 2024, it's all about video vixen. And you can see how it's moving from the over exaggerated bodies, but Ballroom has already done it. They're just now catching up to it's going back to that very modelly type of look. So society and ballroom goes hand in hand. It does the same thing as a dance that you got to just find yourself in. And I always preach and I tell people, you can't move with society trends. You have to find what works for you and stick to it because you're a trend today and you're out tomorrow. But one thing about trends, they always come back around.
Definitely, definitely. Does anyone wants to say something again, like on the maybe something that stood out to them, looking at old videos and looking at today, how it changed? Although I feel like Shanon captured it up very, very good, but maybe there's something. All right. Yes. That's let's move on to the next question then. So how this might be a more like critical question, but also empowering depending on how you look at it. How do beauty standards in ballroom culture reflect or resist or also reproduce white and Western and Eurocentric ideas of femininity and attractiveness? Also, you know, in the context that it's actually a Black and Latinx culture coming from Black and Latinx communities. So again, it's like, okay, it reflects it, it resists it, but it's also reproducing it. So, but what exactly is going on?
Oh gosh. You know what it is? It's we ballroom, we need some therapy. I'm gonna put it like that. We need therapy because if we really look at it, it's a psychological thing. I think because ballroom was created by us as colored, and I'm gonna continue to say colored because that's what we all are. We're colored. And because it was created by us and there was no white people in it, that the standard was always to be like them. As hard as it is for us to admit that, because we didn't have them in our circle participating in our activity, the standard was always to be and to simulate what they do, but in our culture, amongst our colors. And we haven't healed from that. We haven't, we, because I have my own personal story with the colorist issue. We haven't, truth be told, we really have not learned to see our own beauty and cherish it. We're still griping with that because if we didn't, we wouldn't be having colorist issue, dark skin, light skin, that will be out the door. But ultimately, everybody is trying to simulate to white power.
Yes.
It's sad, but it's true.
Yes, yes. I completely agree. And then again, I feel like ballroom also has this part where it reproduces stuff, you know, and like reproduces oppressive ideals, but it's also resisting them in this. It's like a paradox because it's yeah, it's in a way, it's a reproduction, but it's also a resistance. And but that's also something I would like to dive deeper with you. Like, where do you see the resistance to like white beauty standards, Eurocentrism? For example, I remember we had a conversation with Jason, ex-Prodigy,
Mm-hmm.
face also, and he was like, okay, you know, we had like the face category. I don't know if it was for everybody, but for the butch queens in particular, where it was always preferred the lighter skinned girls,
Lighter skin.
yes, and then they just came up with a new category. You know, this can be a solution for a moment to highlight then dark and lovely and
Or
highlight
light and lovely.
yeah, or
Mm-hmm.
to separate that. But then again, okay, but when is the moment where we merge the category again because it feels like we have unpacked our Eurocentric gaze on beauty, and now we can look at it from a fair point and only see the beauty. Is that even possible? I don't know. Maybe I'm just
So
going.
they tried that in the late 80s, 90s, if I'm not mistaken, at Light and Lovely on both sides. But you want to know what is so crazy? You just said Jason talked about that, which I do agree. I do think that it's like a quarter, heads or tails. The boys got the tails where it was always the lighter skin over the darker complexion. But the girls is always favorite the darker complexion versus the lighter complexion. And I'm going to tell you why. That's why I said we need therapy. Nobody ever talks about this. I'm going to tell you. The problem is that when you leave outside a ballroom, who do the world gravitate to? They gravitate to the lighter skinned Black woman. And I'm only going to talk about it because I'm Black. I'm only going to talk about the Black community right now. The world gravitates to the lighter skinned woman. Look at the video vixen, look at the movie stars, look at the housewives, look at what men, because they are told in their households, go get you a lighter skinned woman. You're going to have light skinned babies. You're going to be so pretty because you're a darker complexion. Listening to all of this, it eats away at people's soul. So when you get in ballroom, if you look at the scale of things, there's a lot more darker complexion than lighter. They're controlling. And it's no different than politics or anything else. They're going to sway their votes to their agenda. And I see this because it happens to me quite often, where I'm not looked upon as being the top dog because my skin is lighter than someone else. I can have an amazing package. I can be better than, and I will always, it's almost like you're putting me in my place. What the world do to you outside of ballroom. And we have to heal from that because I don't think that, me personally, I think we need to stop looking at color. We're all Black. We're all Black. I don't care if you have biracial, we're all Black. And so you can't tell somebody if they're Black or they're not. That's the first problem that we have. And if you really look at it, there's a lot of individuals in ballroom that you don't know their background because they don't look Black, but one of their parents are Black. We see this so often. The first thing somebody say, "Oh, I thought they was Latino. They're not Black, baby, but their father or their mother's Black. What are you talking about?" And you don't get to know people you don't know. So we go through years after years after years, not realizing that a person is Black like you. What Madison said, light skin, Black skin, beige, fluorescent beige, bitch, I'm Black. It's almost got like we got to start speaking up and telling people I'm Black just like you. I'm Black just like you. I fight the same fights. And we're talking about beauty. This is a big misconception. You guys, we all face the same issues, no matter if you're the darkest of the dark to the lightest of the light. Everybody has the same pimples, wrinkles, this issue, that issue is the same. It's the same. It's no different. It's no harder for one to the next because I've heard all the stories. It's the same. It's the same.
I feel
We all got to do the same work.
I feel with the coming to the colorism issue, it's not only about personal, but it's more about how the world treats you. You know, that makes a difference. You know, and also there's a difference between the US. I'm not going to say America, the US, and Europe. You know, because I feel when Ballroom came to Europe, colorism, no, I'm not going to say colorism, racism was an issue, you know, because it came to Europe and obviously it was very white in the beginning, which wasn't an issue in the first place, but it became an issue when Black people came in and didn't see themselves, you know? So,
Yes.
and also who was on the judge panel and what would they prefer? What would they deem beautiful? What would they deem aesthetic, you know? And that it was harder for a Black, dark-skinned person who was queer to win against people of a lighter complexion or who are cisgendered and everything. So I think it's not only about like, okay, from our personal journey, we're all facing similar struggles, but from how the outside world is treating us, there are not differences. But then also it's not only color, it's obviously it's a complex issue. But yeah, let me maybe stop right here and put it on to somebody else who wants to who maybe has some thoughts that they want to share. Miriam?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask because what you said about Ballroom starting out pretty white, I feel like maybe that's very German. Do the other scenes?
No, except for Paris, it was everywhere.
Okay, true, we don't have a Parisian on
I
the
was gonna say
panel, so
that's not exclusive to Germany.
so I forgot we don't have a Parisian here. Sorry.
Yeah, it was. I mean, for maybe like the Dutch scene was also very like mixed, but I feel the other, like in Europe, it was really like Italy, Sweden, Poland, Germany, UK also was like very white in the beginning, right, Amani? So it was, yeah. So, and then that's why
I mean, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry,
no. Go ahead if you want to say something.
I was just thinking about what you were talking about in terms of panels of judges who are the ones who are judging categories like realness or face, you know, and people that walk in them are Black. I think it was like when I first started walking, I can't remember panels that were like all Black in UK. But I was like, now that's quite the norm. So it's like, yeah, even just thinking about that now, that definitely had an effect on the outcome of those categories.
Yes. And that's I think something that's why I want to highlight this. When Ballroom came into Europe, it didn't came organically in a way, you know, it was like an, I don't know, exported product, you know, like people saw it on TV, people saw it at dance battles. So, and people who already had access because they could take a dance class, you know, and also who can afford a dance class and who feels comfortable in a dance class. And that's why the culture developed a specific way here. And we had to unpack later, it's not voguing, it's ballroom culture. And it's not just a queer culture, it's a Black culture, you know, and it comes from this and that feeling and identity. And that's why we had to do some adjustments and had a lot of discussions also about racism, colorism, privilege due to your gender expression or due to your gender identity or your sexuality. And that's why we are like in this, or that's why I think also this topic is so important to see, okay, if we judge and if we like, if a panel is diverse, we all need to be aware. We have like we are all socialized to think the lighter, the more beautiful, or the different specific features and hair texture is more beautiful. We are all colonized, you know, especially here in Europe. So I think that's why it's important to unpack that and to see what does that mean for ballroom. Like if we continue to reproduce this specific ideals and standards. Yeah.
True.
So
True.
anyway, let's do the next question, which you also tapped into. Shannon, but maybe somebody of you can give your opinion. In what way does beauty in ballroom differ from like social beauty expectation? And also how do they influence each other, you know? I mean, it's obvious if you look at Cardi B or Nicki Minaj these days, you know, where do they have the aesthetic from? But yeah, maybe it's, you know, like I would love to hear your opinion. What is like beauty outside of ballroom, beauty in ballroom, and what is the connection between them?
Well, the beauty right now is everything that you see for the past 10 years been ballroom. Ballroom, drag culture, um, because it's all about the extra. It's all about doing so much more than what was done before. All the techniques from our language, ballroom culture, language, and it has, when I say I'm very clear about this, everybody has taken from ballroom culture, from the gay community, from Black culture, from the mainstream white media, everybody has said, anytime you hear somebody say tea or shade and all these terms, ballroom. It's ballroom. We got to make sure tell everybody you're talking ballroom language, not gay culture, ballroom. The beauty aspect from Nicki Minaj to Cardi B, everybody looks like ballroom, from the colored wigs to the extra makeup to the costumes. It's just a copy, and we're not giving credit. And I'm gonna tell you, I know why we're not giving the credit and the dues. And ballroom is in a place where, like for instance, RuPaul Drag Race. We're not in those rooms, in those places yet, because we don't have a tangible product. This is the first tangible product Ballroom had. The world don't see us. They don't know how to market us. They don't know how to sell us. They don't know where we can fit in that can make them money in their pockets. So until we start, we will always be looked over. We will always be stolen from. We will always be thrown pennies at, and they move on and they will circle back around. Y'all, we have had examples with Madonna's Vogue tour, the Blonde Ambitious tour, to now Beyonce's Renaissance. When are we going to learn that we're more and we can have it all?
Yes, that's definitely a good point, to not only be a trend, but to create an opportunity and think more sustainable and in the future, and you know how we can harvest our own potential better and not let anybody else take from us. And then I want to direct this question but to you, Naimah, because you are working as a model and you are working with different brands, and also kind of in this time where a cultural shift is happening. And you know, like people are like, okay, my God, we want to have this beautiful trans woman in our campaign. And also, but very honest, do you feel there is like a genuine interest in cultural change, or do you feel like, okay, this is an opportunity and I'm going to ride with this, but I don't know if things are going to change tomorrow because there's a new trend, you know, like what is your feeling?
Yeah, that's really hard because a lot of times they do the pink washing, but I'm blessed to be with a good agent, and she really digs deep into these companies and she tells them like what we stand for and how we would like to be treated. So it is difficult, but a lot of times they do favor like the whites. They put them to the front. Sometimes they put me, on the side, and I do feel it at these shoots. But yeah, we can't really do anything about it. I know that my agent wouldn't just put me out there to just be exploited like that, you know? So it is difficult.
Yes. Do you feel like it's because I mean I just see it from the outside. I feel like okay, you're having a lot of amazing campaigns. And do
Mm.
you feel like okay, it's a wave and the wave is still going, or do you feel like there's a drop happening? Or
No, there is a drop happening because
yeah.
I see more girls being put on. Like when I got Hunka Muller, a lot of people were saying like they're just using you because you're the only black trans woman, but they also have this white trans girl that she's also doing all the campaigns. But now I saw they added Amira. Amira is a Mugler. So when I saw this happen, I was like telling people, I was talking to Elle the other day, and I was like, you see, Elle, all this time you guys were saying like, yeah, they're just using me. But he wasn't saying it like, like and like in a bad way, but he was just like, they should put you more in the front, but they're just using you for this. So I really do feel like there's a drop happening that they're like bringing in more
Mhm.
models of color. So yeah.
Okay, well, but that is good then, like that it's really that at least this brand is like, okay, let's just not do it for one season or two seasons.
Yes.
This is our brand now, and the
And
next.
also like, sorry?
No, continue.
No, and also that it's not just for Pride, like a lot of them were also saying like, yeah, they're only gonna call her when it's Pride season. But no, I've done Valentine campaign with Humka Miller, So it's not just for the Pride.
Yeah, which is also because Ballroom exists beyond Pride. It's here all the
Exactly.
time, like to just highlight that from Pride is kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? When you're on these sets and you amongst these people, do you ever and you see they're doing one thing to you, do you ever speak up and say something? Or
Definitely.
do you take your because one thing we are as in ballroom, we always have the knack of shining. You
Hmm.
walk in the room and have a light and
Hmm.
everybody see it. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's for you to step into that light when you in those moments and take your shot.
Yes, I do. I do.
Good.
Yes, speaking up. Do not be a people pleaser.
No, honey, we left that in the past.
Moving on to the next question, which is more about personal journey within ballroom from yeah, normativity, speaking of like how is beauty aspiring to look like the norm, the norm that isn't beauty outside of ballroom, to like being your most authentic self. In what ways does ballroom empower individuals to embrace beauty and femininity on their own terms? And what tensions exist between like being authentic, like really yourself and your most beautiful self, or like aspiring for the perfect look, That is a question that I would like for Aitana to answer first. Because I remember I saw a post from you, it's been a while, where you like very briefly tapped into this, I'm a femme queen, I'm walking these categories, haven't done specific stuff, but I'm still like aiming for it, and but that is like it's harder for you, to walk, especially like the sex siren category, because there's a specific idea how a femme queen that walks sex siren has to look, but you are breaking this idea and you are winning. So Aitana, please.
So for me, yeah, because I'm like one of the younger generation of the family, so I don't have the surgeries and the things and that. So walking sex siren against those who have that, it's going to be more hard for me and more like a pushing it back for me to excel even more harder because I mean I don't have the boobs to shake it, and so that's why for me, me walking the category sometimes is very liberating because I can be myself. I can show my skin, I can show my body, I can show the judges that I love myself even more than they can imagine. Yeah, and also because I'm one of the younger femme queens and I had a journey from pushing to a drag to now the person that I want to be. I think it's even more beautiful because of ballroom giving me that gateway, I would say. Because I think if I wasn't in ballroom, I wouldn't even. I don't know. It's different. Like I feel like if I wasn't in ballroom, I don't think this person right here would be sitting here.
Yes. No, I thought that was very beautiful and empowering, and I mean I've seen you, I think for the first time live walking sex siren at Naimah's ball. Was it where you had the red outfit and like did a whole production? Was it yeah, the Femme Queen de Ball.
Yes, I did the all to Raquel Balenciaga episode.
Yes, yes. And I was like, and also seeing that you don't have this typical aesthetic, like, and still you, I mean, not like seeing it like, because it was like, but the energy was there, the presence was there, the beauty was there, the sex was there, So it's not only about having like a perfect form that ballroom sometimes expects from specific people, but it's really about embodying an energy, an authentic energy, and you really had that, and that was very captivating. Let's say it like this. I was captivated. Like, so yeah, and I think that's very empowering also for others to see, like, okay, I can be that, I can be that authentic person, and in my body, I don't need to reach a specific point where I can then walk that category, But yeah, again, maybe somebody wants to say something on this, like how much room does ballroom leave for like authenticity and beauty on your own terms, than we all have to look perfect and this one ideal should be what we all aim for.
I'd love to add something to that.
Definitely.
How much room does ballroom leave for authenticity? Is that the question?
Yes.
Um, I'll say this, because even though me and Aitana are from the same generation, I've told her this countless times. I'm someone who's so inspired by her and what she did and how she's paved the room for a lot of the girls. One thing for me, as someone who has gone from like male presenting categories to now female presenting categories, is that I was and still am very much finding out what my aesthetic, how I want to present is in real time, and also presenting that on the floor. So in a way, yes, it does leave room for authenticity, but it also does leave a lot of room for critique and for people to tear that apart and for people to chop you based on that. People who don't even know, people who don't even walk that path of life, if that makes sense. But I think for me, the beauty in that is that the fact that me finding myself and discovering myself is quite literally archived, and it's archived for so many girls to watch and to be inspired by. I don't know if I'm answering your question, but I'm kind of going on a tangent right now.
No, that's good. This is
No, you
also
answered it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's also not a conversation to have ultimate answers, It's really just about share your story, share your perspective, and give like insight to how you personally feel about specific topics and dynamics in ballroom, that uplift and empower us, but that also sometimes can crush us, and crush our self-esteem.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you this, it's like that was something that I never had to think about as a Bush Queen. You can just literally shower, leave the house, and walk a ball, and no one's gonna say anything about how you look. Whereas now, and it's a good and a bad thing. Whereas like I remember like my bored mother Bambi was telling me once, and I was like kind of like unraveling before walking a ball about my presentation, where she was like, for femme queens and for drag and for femmes in ballroom in general, like whether you're walking or not, if you're attending the ball, it's like going to prom every time. And for good and the bad, and all of the anxieties that come with going to prom come with going to a ball in a way. Sometimes, no, I'm making it sound like going to a ball is like a nightmare. It's not, but sometimes it does have that, you know. But yeah, I think it's that's something I've definitely been thinking about a lot. The difference between what walking a ball or being a part of ballroom period is now versus when I first started.
But do y'all see the correlation that ballroom standard is no different than what you see every day?
Absolutely.
What are especially gay men, what are they attracted to? They're attracted to women and beauty. And the first woman that they see 9 times out of 10 is their mother. Women putting on makeup, getting their hair done, getting an outfit. Nothing about a man is interesting. Let's just keep it. There's nothing that a man can do that's going to be giving you, wow, I want to be like him. No, I don't care if you're straight. all men look at women. That's why it's such a hyper masculinity that comes around a woman looking beautiful and they gravitate to it. And it's no different than ballroom. That's why, and just imagine what we go through as women. We're being judged 24/7 about how we look, no matter who it's from other women, from gay, from straight men, no matter what, we're being judged. So when you come to ball and walk, you already, if you're doing it as a female figure, you got to be prepared and be ready that, yes, ballroom is about growth. They love to see somebody start from the underdog to being that top bitch. But if you're not progressing, that's the main part that a lot of people don't do. They don't progress. This is why we love the art of transformation, such like drag queens and things of that nature. Why Mariah Balenciaga is the blueprint of drags and ballroom, because Mariah's a whole boy on every day. But when it was time to go to ballroom, even back then when ballroom was a notion, Mariah could transform into being a girl and stand next to don't call us a biological woman or a family queen or things of that nature, because the transformation was just that epic. So that's the key that I want, if I can leave for any of your youth to understand. Don't let this ballroom or anybody question your growth, but you have to show improvement every single time you hit the floor. I don't care if you bought the ball yesterday. That next ball, if it's the day after, I better see some growth, even if it's just a little bit. And growth can come in how your hair is done, how your makeup is applied, the type of clothes you wear. That's improvement. But if you're not doing it, stop. And don't feel bad about it. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. And this is the part about ballroom. It's competition. It's about growth. And them not seeing it today is just, look at it from this perspective. It's them telling you it's not your time. Go back and try it again. And when I give you that 10 or give you that grand prize, you have arrived.
Thank you. I think that's also a hard part, but that's the true part. Something that, coming from older generations, from the US culture, that we still have to digest here, especially young generations. I'm not talking about you, Amani. I'm talking about like very young, recent generations, where I feel like coming to it's so hard, and they're like, yeah, well, ballroom is hard, it's tough, it's competition, like it's not, and it's not for everybody because of that reason, So I think, but it can help you because it will pull out the best, It can crush
The
you,
real world. The real world is tougher.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what ballroom has, and I'm thinking for myself, ballroom. I'm so glad I was in ballroom, because nothing that the world do is going to be harder than what ballroom has already given me. So you can accept anything. You go into a job interview, you don't get it, okay, move on. I'm gonna go get the next one. So
exactly, the job hurt more. Yeah, but I completely agree on that part. It really toughens your skin, and also you're able to present yourself in every room after you manage to walk on the ballroom floor, on the runway.
yeah.
Coming to the next question, and I want to hear an answer from each and every one of you for this, because I feel everybody of you like different generation, on a different path. And I want to know from you personally, what do you think? How accessible is beauty? And the next question would be, how does beauty creates access? Like, to make it more specific, not everybody can afford beauty, or can they? And then again, when you are beautiful, you might get opportunities within ballroom, but also obviously outside of it, But how do you feel that, how accessible is beauty?
Beauty is accessible, especially in 2024. Everybody can be beautiful. And what we also have to understand, beauty comes in all shape, form, and fashion. And the secret, beauty is not this package on the outside. It's what's from the inside. Because if you notice in the world, the people who a lot of people gravitate to, they gravitate to personality. And you can buy this. You can buy all this. And that's what the culture is showing us right now. I have been seeing it for years now. It's, let me use my words correctly. It is the underdog. If you really look at it, it's the underdog who is winning now. It's not beauty. It's not the most beautiful person in the world. It's the underdog that are winning.
In ballroom, you say, okay.
Everywhere.
Okay.
I think in every facet of life, the underdogs are winning.
Okay, thank you. And for the others, give me your opinion. How accessible is beauty?
I agree with Shanon 100%. This is like the Shanon talk. Because she is just carrying and everything, but I do agree in that it's really inside. Like if you're a good person, things will just come to you. You'll be accessible to everything. And I take that to myself because that's the type of person I am also. I'm just generally a good-hearted person, and I feel like a lot of people say, "Oh, how do you get this?" I'm just like, I'm just blessed. I'm just being kind. You lead with love, love will come back to you. Like what you put out there, you're gonna receive it back. So I agree with Shannon 100%.
Amani, give me your thought.
I agree with everything that was said. I think in terms of how accessible is, like, let's say physical beauty in ballroom, I mean, if we're being honest, stuff like that does cost money that everyone doesn't have. And also comes with knowledge that everyone might not have, but it becomes accessible within the context of a community. Like if you're in a house, if you have sisters, if you have people that will help you out with stuff like that. That's what I learned anyway. So it is accessible, but also cannot be sometimes. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I think on that.
And also maybe like the second question attached to it, how does beauty create access? Do you feel like on a day where you're like, okay, I did my hair and makeup and everything, you know, like within ballroom, people do people behave different towards you?
I get more free drinks.
For example, yeah, you know, but that's like money you saved, so.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, of course it does. Of course it does. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's quite obvious to me.
Aitana, what do you think?
So the second question, I feel like yeah, somebody who looks more presentable, more well done, and more like done will get the things easier. For example, you go to a job interview, if you go into like a job interview with joggers, a hoodie, a sweater, and look like you just came out of a gym, you would not really get the job. But if you go into the job interview looking well in a nice suit or nice jeans, you would easily the it's that you easily can get the job easily. So I feel like that's like me answer the second question. Yes, for beauty like makeup very expensive, but I also feel like because of the world like I said it's like it's leveling up every time. Like you can get beauty everywhere for like the cheapest ones to the expensive ones. You have your sisters like Amani said, and even your mother you with that as well, like lend you makeup. So it doesn't need to be the expensive of the expensive, but it can also be like very cheap. And you don't beautiful.
I missed the last two sentences because something is with your mic, Aitana. I don't know, or is it me? Maybe no,
I couldn't hear it either.
Yeah, the mic is sometimes messing around a bit.
Maybe this better. I said, yeah, beauty, it can be like the most expensive, but also like the cheapest ones. You can get it everywhere, like your mother, your sisters, they can help you with it or lend you what you need. And it doesn't need to be something that is like 500 euros. You can go to like the, I would say, essential stores. They have makeup for €1 to your. So it doesn't need to be even money wise. That will help you. And also beautiful. Being beauty, it doesn't need to be something with money or like. Yeah, beautiful will be achieved easily for me, and for I feel like everybody.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much
I know
for
that's
your
better.
answers. Coming to a topic that is a bit more, let's say, sensitive and
Can I,
also
can I,
more. Yes,
I don't mean
Shannon.
to cut you off. Can I answer that right quick? Um,
Oh,
and I'm
no.
gonna speak. I'm going to speak to what everybody just said about the the accessibility of beauty. I think what is for the youth, what you don't understand, because I've been there, is that it's about a roadmap. You look at the whole big picture or see somebody standing there looking beautiful and you don't see how you can get there. But there's steps to getting there. And if you follow those steps, you can have just as, like they say, if you use $10 a month, you can get there. You think you might need hundreds of thousands, it's not. It's a roadmap. You have to take those steps. It's just buying a Happy Meal. You do that one step at a time and you will end up eventually getting there instead of looking at the big picture. So that's the first key. The second key is that you can achieve all of this, but you have to put yourself in a position to want it and not allow somebody to tell you you can do it. If you want it, you're going to go out there and get it, working extra hours, pulling yourself away, you don't going out to the clubs with your friends and things. It's sacrifice. That's what a lot of y'all are not being told. There's sacrifices to look like this. You can't go out. You can't go out. You can't buy that extra drink. You can't go get the fast food. You got to put in extra hours of working. That's something that y'all don't see. It's hard work. It's dedication. You can't go on every trip. You can't be at every ball. And that's what we like too. Go to one ball 2 months ago, might not be at the next ball until the next year, and you come out, you look different. That's a sacrifice. They're not seeing you put in the sacrifice. And your beauty will come. Everything will fall in its place, and you'll look back and be like, I appreciate this journey because I didn't know this is what I needed to do to get there.
You better preach, Shanon.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a journey, you know. It's not the destination, it's a journey. So it's a work in progress. Naima, do you want to say something to that? Or do you just want to agree?
No, I agree, honey. Shanon is carrying for me.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for the addition. Moving on to the next question that is a bit more sensitive to say and personal, but and like I said in the beginning, not everybody needs to answer, but obviously I and maybe people, I guess a lot of people in the audience would like to hear your personal opinion or story to it. On like the role of gender affirming care and how does it connect to beauty and beauty care and beauty surgery, and what is the role in ballroom, and where does the intersection between personal expression and society and the expectations of society lies, And I think speaking especially about gender affirming care and beauty surgery, because I think it's and this is me very personally talking about this. It is one thing to be like, okay, I want to aspire to look or to present femme or as a woman or female passing, but where is the line to be like, okay, and then I start to adjust because I just like it, because I think it's beautiful, I like it, I think it's pretty, So yeah, I don't know if you can follow me, but these are just topics that are constantly in my head, also because I did some research a while ago about femininity beyond the male gaze, and it came up that it actually doesn't exist, because you can only look at femininity from the other side of it, you know, and it's like masculinity also doesn't exist without femininity and vice versa. So I feel, okay, we are always thriving for this perfect feminine idea. And but where is the line for you personally, where you feel like, okay, I'm doing this because I want to present a specific way, and I'm doing this and that because I want to look beautiful, or is it the same thing? Can you follow me? I've put out like 100 questions now. Should I rephrase? Everybody's like, what is she talking about?
So, well, I could talk to the femininity and the masculinity part. I think the femininity, everybody has been washed with this image of what femininity should look like. Femininity should always be mild, meek, and demure. Cutesy, demure. And it really is it's just a social way of life. And I think it just came from being royal and the aristocrats and all these different things. And it just has been passed amongst society. Women are always to be seen and not heard. But as time has moved on, women have gotten a voice. Women are doing more things. That femininity looks like a multitude of things. And I think it has changed over generations. And I think that women have the right and the power to have unfortunately, I'm going to say this. Women have the right to, well, I ain't going to say right. They have taken on traits of masculinity as time has gone on, because you have to take on masculinity traits in order to do certain things in life. And I think men have also taken on feminine traits because their role in society are changing. So we're seeing that juxtaposition of both sexes doing the same thing that you're seeing in the opposite sex. So as we evolve, and dare I say this, I think it's always been there. I just think we haven't seen it globally out there in our faces. But I think it has always been there, if that makes sense. And let me see if I can say this in ways. Like, for instance, like if you look at a program like The Bridgertons, I want you to picture it. You saw how men and women act a certain type of way out in public, but then behind closed doors, they having sex parties or freak offs and things of that nature. It has happened throughout generations. And men are sleeping with men, women are sleeping with women. It is the same thing. So those traits have always been there. We just haven't seen it like we're seeing it now. So that's how I can spin that around.
Can I add to that? Because I agree with everything you just said. I completely agree. I think it's always been there. We just haven't seen it. Especially from my own experience, I come from an African family, specifically Somali family. So we are obviously Muslim, and in Muslim culture, whether you are an Arab, whether you're in Dubai, whether you're in Somalia, it is very normal for two men who are straight to walk around the street holding hands, to be physically affectionate with each other. We just don't see that in Western society, you know. Yeah, so I think what Shannon is saying is so true. It's so, so true. I think we just have a very Western point of view of it all.
Definitely. Then again, coming back to like personal expression, and specifically from the topic of like gender affirming care and surgeries, because we want to present a specific look from the outside, you know, and like what does it mean? And in a way where we also we live in a time where we want to unpack things, and we want to unpack the binary, and we want to unpack, okay, what has been indoctrinated, what the ideas that we have, and and then again we all have this urge to present a specific way. And I'm for this part, I'm not going to say we all, because this is nothing I experience, you know, from gender affirming care, and the importance of it, that it still plays, and the relation to beauty surgery within ballroom. Like, what are your thoughts, and how do these things coexist? Where on the one side we'll be like, okay, we want to unpack the binary, we don't want to reproduce the binary, but then again, gender affirming care and beauty surgery is still something that is very much wanted, but also needed, because you want to survive in the world, you know? So what are your thoughts on this? Amani, you can say something. Yes, again, of course.
No. I'm thinking about what you said. I think obviously to each their own, but you said it right there in the way you answered, the way you asked that question. People do it because they need to survive, you know.
Yes.
It's not something that I can speak a whole lot on from a personal experience. But yeah, I think you pretty much answered it in the way you asked it.
Naimah, do you want to add something on it from like personal experience?
Personal experience when it came to surgery, I have always wanted it, but it wasn't really like something that I felt like I needed. Because I mean, like in the US, the way they see it is like you need to be bodied, you need to have a lot of titties, you need to have a lot of ass. But that's one thing that I actually admired from the European scene. It wasn't really much about that here. You know, they praised a lot of the like natural beauties, like petite, you know, not big titties, not big ass, but yeah, I would say yeah, I don't have much to say about this,
So it was
honestly.
more like a personal choice and not like a social, oh, I have
Yeah.
to do this to attain. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's completely fair. I think it's just knowing that despite the ideas change and we all want to unpack the binary, if you want to get yourself a set of titties, do that.
Yeah, period.
You're not, you know, if it's like for your personal choice, that's because I think personally I'm very interested in this question. I'm a mother. I have a little daughter. And I'm thinking a lot about surgery the recently, just because my
Really?
body, yes, I'm getting very personal and intimate now.
Oh my God,
Yeah, but
okay.
it's because my body obviously changed over the
Yeah.
pregnancy, you know, and I'm like, should I get a boob job? But what is my daughter going to think? But should I get it? But you know, but I don't want to reproduce this, but should I get it? And that's why I'm like, okay, I want to hear your opinion, because it's like, okay, there's this idea from society how a body should look, no matter if you're Francis, if you're a mother, we all have to look that, you know, like if you want to be beautiful, have that body. And then, but now that I'm having a daughter, it's not only about my body anymore. I feel like, okay, she's gonna look like you said, Shanon, she's gonna look the way I treat myself and the way I'm gonna apply my makeup and the way I'm gonna treat my body. This is going to influence her a lot. So that's why I'm very hyper vigilant about this choice about getting something done to my body, you know? Yeah.
But it influences her in the right way. I
Yeah.
am a product of my mother. Everything that you see, this is what I saw my mother doing growing up, and I loved it. I don't need validation from a man. A man can't tell me, oh my gosh, Shannon, you look so beautiful. I tell them I know. You have to have your own confidence. You can't build me up. And when you say that to a man, they can never tell you you're ugly. They can't never tell you, oh, I'm going to tear you down. You can't do it. Ballroom can't do it. A man can't do it. A woman can't do it. You know the only person who can do it? Me. So it's important for you as a mother to show your daughter that you are beautiful. Love yourself, because you won't tolerate it from nobody else. You will keep going. You'll move out the way. If you don't like it, somebody else will. But I love it. And when you and this is the hard pill as a woman, it's the hard pill to swallow. As you get older, everything changes.
That's the sad part, yeah.
Everything changes. It will never be gravity. It won't be in this spot or that spot. But when I say you love yourself, and if you don't like it, the only time in my book is to change anything about yourself. If you don't like it, go to the right place and change it for you, because that will show the next person that I do love myself. I don't care what you think or what you don't see. If I'm not ready to change it, it's not for you. It's not about the discussion for you until I want to change it. So if you want to have a little push, girl, you want to get a little, do it. If that's for you, don't do it for nobody else.
Thank you, Shanon. I'm going to do it
have the
tomorrow.
discussion and have the discussion too. My mother sat down. When I say I've never been sexually assaulted as a child, I never was touched as a child, because my mother was. And she taught me at a young age with my siblings. She sat down her anatomy book when she was in college, and she showed the human body. And she said, these are the places you do not allow people to touch. She specifically gave the anatomy term of our body parts. So it was none of this playing around with words. No, this is the terminology. This is a serious matter. This is what it is. When you have those conversations with your children, because they are smart. Kids are very smart. Don't let the world teach your child. You teach them. You won't have to worry about them growing up and they feeling inadequate of things of that nature, because you actually had a real dialogue and a conversation with them. And this whole notion of they too young to understand lies, teach them. Children as young as 5 years old are knowing what is going on. And especially when they turn 10, you better start talking to them, because they going to either learn it from you or they're going to learn it from TV or the world.
Definitely. Okay, good. Noted. I will get a boob job and I'm going to tell my daughter.
Just be completely honest.
Well, thank you. No, I think it's important to to exchange on that, because obviously I don't know. I feel like, although my reasons might be different, I just feel we all can learn from each other, no matter
Yes.
why we do things with our body or feel like we need to enhance stuff or change stuff. We can definitely learn through exchange. So thank you for that. Yes, coming to the next question that is very specifically about trans women in ballroom, and like, what are the unique pressures placed on trans women within ballroom for like face, for realness, for body, for sex arm, but also for performance, maybe, like this specific look that maybe, I mean, obviously we're female figures, but I feel the pressures or the standard is just different when, like the people don't expect so much of me when I walk women's performance than maybe for somebody else for femme queen walking their category. So I just want you to use this platform to like speak from personal experience.
I think femme queens are held to a higher standard within ballroom versus everyone else, because from what I've seen is that you're so overlooked by society that this is one place where you can actually shine. But it's a catch-22, because this is a place for you to shine. But the world is moving in such a fast pace that you can shine anywhere in the world now. So ballroom is not catching up to what society is doing per se. And I think it's losing its luster. I truly think it's losing its luster. And also I think I personally think the individuals are losing their love of ballroom, because I think the world is adapting more, and ballroom is not needed to validate the individuals.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I think I need to think about this 1 second. But does anybody wants to give their opinion also while I think? It's about like phrasing the question again, the unique pressures placed on trans women within ballroom culture and your personal experience with this, like how do you feel treated or what have you seen or observed?
For me, back in the days, I used to always want to be like done up 24/7. And right now, this is not it for me. Like I've heard people tell me like I should do what you see in ballroom, what I am in real life, because like on my normal day-to-day, I'm always in like some sweats. I wear no makeup, and I feel like sometimes the pressure that these people put on us that we have to look perfect 24/7 can really fuck up our mental health in our day-to-day lives, you know what I mean? So I just hope that people could just cut some slack on the femme queens, especially when it comes to this, because it can really, yeah, fuck you up mentally. And I hope that people could just learn to just accept their natural state also, because that's also beautiful. And I hope that this can be something that's pushed more into ballroom, so they can see like it's not just always done up 24/7. So that's what I would say with my experience.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, let me say this. When you say you don't in ballroom, you want people to accept, do you mean just coming to a ball or actually walking a ball?
No, like walking the ball.
Okay. So I'm gonna push back on that for a second. Ball, you gotta remember ballroom is like being a performer. You're going out there being Beyonce, Nicki, Mariah, Whitney, whoever. You're entertaining the crowd. So you have to put your best foot forward. So that I can't say you could just show up like you're every day, because that's not the time. If you actually get the courage to step on the stage, you have to be ready to be in the spotlight and be on the stage. And I think that's the problem also with ballroom now, is that a lot of people are not ready to be on that stage yet, or should be on the stage. They actually should be spectators and sit and watch and learn. There's not enough learning to understand what they're seeing. Because, baby, I'm going to put it on every single time I get on that runway. I love it. I love it. The first time I ever went to a ball, I'm celebrating my 20th year in ballroom. And the first ball, I'll never forget the first ball I went to, my mother told me to sit at the table and watch. And she specifically said, don't you get up and don't you walk, because you're going to gag. They're going to chop you. I don't care how fierce you think you are, how you look. You don't understand ballroom yet. I want you to sit and watch. And when we leave, we're going to discuss. And that's what I did. I sat in that spot. The whole entire body did not move. I didn't go to the bathroom. I didn't do nothing. I absorbed everything. And when I got in that car, we unpacked it. And the next day, I walked my first ball. And so we need that. We need to go back to doing that instead of sending somebody to their first ball and pushing them out there. You need to sit and watch. You need to watch. You need to absorb. You need to understand the culture. You need to understand where you fit into things. Because I decided what I was going to walk. It wasn't decided for me. Because a lot of times people be given that somebody decide, no, I'm walking face. I know I have face, but I also had to learn in that. Shannon, you don't have ballroom face. You have everyday face. This goes to what you were saying before. I have everyday face. Ballroom and everyday face is not the same. You got to put on extra makeup. You got to judge your look up and put the right hair on. You got to find the right gown or the right effect. There's a difference. It's just like a performing on the stage. You just can't wear fashion on the stage to perform. You actually have to put on a costume. It has to be made and snaps and things. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so always remember, put your best foot forward.
Yes, that's a fair point. But I think it's also interesting to see like, okay, there's still how can ballroom or this idea of like, okay, I have to have like a look and a character, a persona that I'm carrying out on the floor, and who am I when I'm just coming to balls and spectating, and who am I when I'm just alone at home with by myself, and and how this pressure, it can uplift you and pull out the best from you, but it can also, like Naimah said, create a lot of pressure from you because you have this, oh my God, 24/7 perfection look. I have to be beautiful and pretty all the time. So yeah, it's like it's always like two sides to the coin. It's like it can lift you up, it can empower you, but it can also break you and or stick with you. This idea of like I have to perform and present and look beautiful.
I think if I can add to that. Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, y'all, we don't look like that.
All
Not
the
at that.
time.
We don't comb our hair every day. We don't put them. And as you get older, when I say we're bucking against that. I don't like putting on makeup every day. I despise it. I despise it. I'm not putting on no clothes. I wear a regular. I don't want to. And to be very honest, I get more attention by not doing none of that
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
than
You should
I
have
doing
some
all
bottle.
of this. Yes. So you have two personas, you have two characters. I'm Shanon Balenciaga on the stage, and I'm just Shanon in the everyday running around. But if I need to go somewhere, if I got to do something, put it on, I'm gonna put it on, and I get back into character. But once I get off of that and strip that character off, I put on the shelf and keep on moving.
Thank you.
That's literally what I was gonna say about having the two characters almost. And in a way, the Amani and Ballroom actually is something that, like we were saying earlier, that helps me sometimes in day-to-day life that I can tap into, whether it is at a job interview, whether it is when I need some confidence. That's something that like Ballroom Amani can definitely instill in my everyday life. But I also wanted to say about like essentially the performative aspect of Ballroom and the keeping up. That I think this is more of a question, but I wonder if now like if you have like online ballroom and in real life ballroom now, when like on Instagram, where it's like, I wonder if that also adds to the performative aspect of constantly feeling on. I'm saying I wonder as if I'm not in ballroom myself, but like, I think it does. But
Yeah.
again, I think it won't if you have a strong sense of self outside of.
Yeah, but that's such an important part because obviously there's society and there's ballroom and there's social media, because
Yeah.
social media came as a new layer to it of like presentation and how do we look and with the filters and showing our lives or showcasing our lives, let's say it, because it's like it's not real, but we all believe like, oh my God, look at her life. Oh my God, she's so beautiful all the time. And we're like, and turning the camera off, putting
Yeah.
our hair out of the bun and like washing our face and we all look, I don't know, messy. And so I think,
Or
but
just normal.
yeah, or just normal.
Or just
Messy,
normal.
well, I look messy. Anyway, and I think it's but we all I think social media had such a huge influence on how ballroom developed over the past years, and how it's presented and how it's consumed also, and also the idea, and then again, this is influencing ballroom because everybody wants to have like a fab clip of
A
themselves.
clip. A
Cute.
clip.
Yeah, a clip. We are all performing for the clip, which is weird, because it's like, I mean, it's a live culture that should actually be seen live. We want to create a live moment, but now the moment on YouTube is more important than the live moment. So
I also,
yeah,
if you focus on being good at your category, the clip will come.
yeah,
Yeah.
it should be like that. Yes,
The
definitely.
clip will come.
Um, can I also kind of because I agree with all of you with all you said, and I do want to say a little bit a personal thing about myself because I feel like I'm with Naima. I'm not the girl who will go outside with a ton of makeup on and do it every day. I feel like I had a conversation with James in December, and he told me, for example, because he knows I'm more like on the side that I don't want to do the heavy makeup thing every day. He told me like when you work your categories, you should be going up in drags because it's like you're performing, you're competing against the next person who is doing the extra mile. So why wouldn't you do the extra mile if you want to get where you want to go? So that's why I do understand what Naimah is saying. I do also understand what Shannon is saying for all. So that's why what I wanted to add a little bit for myself to it.
Yes. So it's really what we can take away from this. It's like it's a character, and we should treat it as, I mean, it's not a character like outside of ourselves. It's a part of who you all are, but nobody can be that person 24/7, you know. You
Yeah.
need to tap into it, and like then you can be like bright and shiny and empowered, and but then you also need to be like, okay, let's just go on the couch and chill.
Girl,
Let me say this.
Beyonce's not even herself 24/7. You know, we've all seen
Yes.
the documentary. We've
Beyonce
all seen
all
her in the
24/7.
onesie with a laptop. Like we've all seen
Like
her.
at home like this.
Well, let's talk about this. Let me say this. I'm gonna give y'all, because y'all have watched and y'all have seen. Look at Yolanda. Look at Deja. Look at Christina. Look at Alyssa. And then you go to somebody like a Sanaya or a Mika or a who else I could put in there, or Asia. I gave y'all certain people who did not wear a lot of makeup and things. And then I gave you girls that they had a lot of makeup and the extra bodies and things of that nature. You can be anything that you want to be in ballroom. It's not about wearing heavy makeup and things of that nature. It's coming with a look. It's your own aesthetic. Like for instance, with Deja and Allura, I mean Deja and um oh my God, I just said her name, Yolanda. They were more the natural girls. Deja gave you costumes and things. You just have to find your voice and what you want to bring to ballroom. It's not about being like everybody else, because that actually will set you apart. But you have to find what works for you and stick to it. You stick to it, you perfect it. If you want to be the natural girl, you better be, every single time you come out that door, you better be boom, 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 boom on it. So that's the thing I'm saying. No matter what your image that you want to bring to ballroom and be known for, you just have to perfect that image. And when I say perfect, you have to be confident in it. You have to move the people in it. And moving the people is making a new generation want to be like you.
Yes, preach. Miriam, you want to say something?
Yeah, I have a question like more from like a hosting and organizing side. Um, Especially now that we're talking about more natural and maybe more done up. Um, we had a conversation about this recently in one of our meetings where it was like, um, European ballroom works a little differently than, not just a little differently, but a lot differently than US ballroom. And I feel like I had also had a conversation with Michael Elle about like realness and how we were like what we, but we're both cis people, so like it's from that standpoint. But do we need to not open up the category? Let me find a way to say this in the way that I want to ask. Do you feel like this is mostly for the Europeans probably, and maybe Shannon can explain how it works in America? Um, because the category is about being real, not just being beautiful, right? So I feel like in Europe, being beautiful or presenting like um almost whatever the theme is, taking it to like a fashionable side of it and selling a dreamy version of that theme is what seems to be strived for. Do we need more down to earth themes? Do we need to make it more do we need to open up the category in that way as well? Because people don't feel like they can show up being naturally beautiful, or is that something that people have to do for themselves? Is it maybe also on us to shape the category from an organized from an organizing standpoint to open up for those girls who are real but not overly, beautiful in that sense. I don't
So
think
mean
I worded it the right way, but I
like
think you
everyday
get what I
realness,
mean.
for example, you mean
Yeah, exactly. Like I
as a
mean
category.
specifically realness or categories like it, where it's not just about beauty, but about what you're presenting. Because I feel like, yeah, it's the most beautiful girl wins
Yeah, but
oftentimes.
this is also for other categories. It's like if it's like you have two people in the finals who both have body, and then like, oh, but the one has a prettier face, people might judge for her. Like so that's also something that I've seen. I mean, and then also how do we decide who has the prettier face, but like pretty in a way of like physical standard beauty. So yeah, but yeah, okay. Does anybody wants to uh give their opinion on that thought, on that take?
I think that we should do more everyday realness because to me, realness is not really like a performance. To me, realness is a lifestyle. Um, like for my ball, for example, I had some girls as like highlights, like Paris West. She's always very done up. She's always very dolly looking. But I also had girls like Tabitha Margella. She comes up with a fitted and a jersey, and she's real. So like I feel like we need to push that more because that's actually what realness is outside. I mean, I'm not saying it's just the only thing, but to me, that's more real. That's beautiful. If a girl can just come up in her regular fit, like her everyday fit, and just pass as a woman, beautiful. To me, that's how I see it. So I feel like we should push more for more open to all or more everyday realness. That's my take on it.
But can I say this though? But just like with every woman, isn't every day there's somebody that is looking a different type of way. She might put on makeup. She might put on the heels and put herself together. And I get what you're saying. The everyday aspect you want to see, and that's what ballroom does gravitate to. Even in the United States, they gravitate to the banshee around, and we call it here the banshee around the way fillet type of girl versus the girl who puts on the heels and the makeup and things of that nature. So I understand with Europe versus United States, there's a difference because your I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this as blunt as possible. The
Please.
difference between the United States versus the European culture is that y'all are now being able to be in a room celebrating each other. Ballroom just now has become a thing where ballroom has been a thing in the United States. So we have celebrated everybody for who they are and seen them in every aspect for who they are. So you guys are having to catch up to where we have been. And your eye, because you're being taught, is to look for pretty and not seeing the beauty and stripping it down. And that's where I think that the takeaway is that Europe got to get to the point of being able to see a person stripped down to nothing, because that is the hardest thing. But yet, that is the most beautifulest thing. I'm 42 and I actually appreciate me being stripped down and I see my beauty and and guys have always told me this. Oh my God, you look so beautiful with a fitted on and nothing on, just sweats, just covered all up. It's so beautiful in that. But I never saw it until now where I'm like, no makeup on, no hair not done, just sitting around, just give me a little gloss and good skincare, and I'm beautiful. I'm honestly beautiful. I see the beauty in that. So, will ballroom catch up with that? Because it's such a masculine hypersensitivity to feminine. and femininity, it's all for you to keep pushing, ladies.
For real.
Yes, yes, definitely. Thank you. Yeah, and I think this is exactly the difference. It's like, okay, a pretty face doesn't necessarily equal beautiful, you know, there's a difference. And also the beauty in the category, it's not about judging for face, yes, but for other categories, it's not about judging a pretty face, but it's about like the beauty of owning the category and who owns that. But I think Europe, for some categories, especially realness, there is work to do. We don't
Yeah.
fully understand the category yet, you know? So, not like everybody of us, but most of us. Yeah, I don't know. Does anybody wants to share their thought? Like, does anybody has a thought that they want to give? Can also be very random. Amani's like, yes, I have something.
Gosh, I did. Yeah, basically, when it comes to, because we're talking, because I keep hearing the word about like, that's not what's beautiful, this is what's beautiful. I think also we need to remember beauty is really subjective, to be quite like obvious. And not only is it subjective, it is subjective, especially to the individuals who are on that panel. And it's going to be different people on that panel every time. Yes, there seems to be like similar outcomes in who wins. But I think that's also, I mean, I don't know if I'm naming the obvious here, but I think that's also particular to like what country you're in, because every country and culture has a different definition of what's beautiful and what's real.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Definitely. But also that what you say with the outcome, I think also social media plays a role in that, you know? When we
Yeah.
see outcomes on social media of balls, we, I don't know, save that in our brains and then it also reproduces itself, you know? So,
Wait, sorry, I don't know if I'm not understanding. What do you mean by the outcomes on social media?
no, the outcomes we see of balls on social media, you know, we see like specific people winning, specific moments happening, you know, and I think that's why I feel like if somebody told me a person won this and that ball, but I haven't seen it, I can look at that person the next time I'm on a paddle with a fresh pair of eyes, you know.
Got you.
Maybe if I saw a clip and everybody's hyping this up, this might influence me to be like, oh, everybody thinks she's that girl or he's that person, you know. This can preoccupy me in judging.
Yeah.
But we should all get rid of social media before we judge a ball.
Yes.
Sometimes though, I feel
True.
like I also have seen that almost work in the opposite direction, where because someone on the panel is aware of you, they like judge you harsher almost. It's like a two-way thing.
Yeah. So it equals it out, you think? Like we end up.
Yeah, I don't know what it does. I just know that it's a thing.
Yes, okay, I see. Okay. So coming to the last question before opening it up to our audience, to our spectators. Though I don't know if I really need to pull that question or ask that question, I'm going to say it anyway. You have answered it quite often already, but what in and out of ballroom, what is beauty to you? Like you can sum it up in like one or two questions. Naimah, you want to go first?
Beauty to me, I feel like we all said it before. To me, the simplest things are beautiful, like confidence. To me, that's beautiful. The way you carry yourself, the way, yeah, the way you just carry yourself and carry for your category. Confidence to me is the most beautiful in ballroom.
Thank you. Amani, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I think actually, not to be cheesy, but ballroom has influenced in a positive way what I find beautiful outside of ballroom, and it's the same thing. It's now what I find really beautiful both in and outside of ballroom is the journey and growth that the growth that someone goes through, the evolution, you know, that also becomes such a like ballroom nerd. Like when I became obsessed with ballroom, I like would study all my favorite femme queens clips, so I saw their evolution, and that was before I really got into the scene, and now I'm getting to witness my own evolution and my sister's evolutions, and like I don't know, that to me is the most beautiful thing, both in and outside the ballroom.
Yes, that's beautiful. So we have confidence and we have the personal evolution. Aitana, what is it for you?
I would say confidence as well, but also personality. Because I feel like if you have a bad personality, it really will backfire on you. So confidence and somebody who's just themselves and not put up an act for anybody.
Yes, so confidence, the evolution, personality, and authenticity. Let's say
Yes.
it like this. Okay. Shanon, you have the
The
final
mother.
word.
Beauty inside and outside of ballroom. The one word that comes is luxury. You have the luxury to be beautiful because you can be whatever you want to be, regardless of what world, what country you live in, whatever the social, economic backgrounds, whatever society votes against your agenda. You can be whatever you want to be, regardless what anyone say. That's the beautiful part about ballroom. When I say, regardless if it was in or trend, before it was known and underground, you can be whatever you want to be. And ballroom, the world has not given us our just dues, but we're the unsung heroes of the world. We're truly the unsung heroes. And we need to be celebrated more because when it was not popular, when it was not a notion, we in ballroom was out there setting those stones down, paving the way, died to be. And we are truly heroes. Never forget.
Yes. And one herein also, we have you here and you have something very beautiful in your bag, Shanon. Maybe you can dive very quickly before we open it up to our spectators. Because if you want to be beautiful, you should take care of yourself and like, maybe with like skincare products,
Bring it closer. Bring it closer.
You
Yes.
know, we live in a world. We live in a world. Let me find out. We live in a world where we will always want to. Right now, we live in a culture where it's all about being first. I have created fragrances for ballroom, but now I have a skincare line. Everybody has always said, Shannon, what are you doing with your skin? What are you using? Oh my God, you should do a skincare line. Well, God has made it a reality. I have a skincare line and it's called an Aga Luxury Skincare. Me fold. An Aga Luxury Skincare. And let me give y'all the backstory because it's such a beautiful story for this. Um, I realized that we don't have a tangible product for ballroom for the world to really invest in us. So I went out and created this. And I did not want to just be selfish like so many people to make it, oh, it's just Shanon. No. I made this and I made it under the House of Balenciaga because I want to bring my house into the forefront of being an entrepreneur to have a tangible product so our evaluation can go up. So we can have other products and there will be other products coming. Stay tuned. I'm going to make sure we have makeup, household, dog pet stuff. It's going to be a global enterprise. House of Balenciaga is going to be the first house, and I'm pioneering blueprint this new age of ballroom. And we're not going to just be known for voguing, for face and things. We're going to be setting the standard to hire people to do campaigns for us. Y'all, this is the vision I see. I have to do it, and I'm going to set this off for somebody when I'm no longer here, that it be passed down to be like, look what Shanon did. She saw this in us. We are worthy. We are worthy to be more than just voguing for somebody else's brand. No, baby. We're here to own the brand.
That's
So
beautiful.
thank you. I came up with this, and is because I could not being on Legendary and all these other platforms. will hold the title of Balenciaga, which is a fashion house brand. I can't trademark Balenciaga. So what way can I get around it? AGA is the ending of Balenciaga, and our chant and it's a part of my middle, a part of my name in the middle, and also my mother's middle name. So I came up with Anaga. It just sounds so beautiful. If you say it, Anaga, that's an Anaga. Those are the Anagas. It was just so cute. So I came up with that, and I was like, I have to do a skincare line and push this and give people truly what I've been using for them to be able to love. So this is my baby. I love it. It has been a labor of love. It has given me my passion back of what I've done in ballroom. That's why y'all don't see me often in much in ballroom anymore, because I've been working on this. It is mine. It is ours. It is something that we're going to leave in this world. And it's going to, I see it being a global empire. And I'm just how y'all are starting fresh in ballroom. It's like I'm starting all over in a whole new world, and I'm loving it.
Where can
So
we
get you some Anaga.
where can we find it?
You can find it on the website, anagaluxuryskincare.com. I'm on Shop app. I'm on Amazon, and we're on TikTok.
Okay, period.
Yes. So
Yeah.
stay tuned. We'll be in a store near you soon.
Amazing. Sephora, let's go.
When I say, and I just had a meeting with Ulta, Vogue magazine. When I say I'm not playing, I am not playing. That's when people gonna really see when they start seeing these ads rolled out, and we get into a store. They're gonna be like, "She really did this." Yes.
Yes, you did. Thank you so much, Shanon. And thank you, everybody, for coming on this conversation. I think it was very needed to hear like personal opinions. And if you have anything you want to share, any last thoughts, obviously you can.
I love you, Shannon.
Love you too. Thank you. Thank
I
you.
love Shanon.
I want y'all, please, when I say just as much as y'all inspire me, this new generation, I want to inspire y'all. You can do it too. I'm looking forward to y'all doing the same thing. But always remember, reach back and uplift the people that you came up with.
Yeah.
And if those who don't want to go with you, leave them. But there is somebody around you that want to go. They believe in you. Real people are going. My girlfriend, who's a multimillionaire, she was the one that sparked the fire. She was like, I'm not leaving you behind in this multi-million-dollar race, Shannon. You're going to do it. Get up. You're going to do this. We're going to find a way. And I was like, I'm just going to do this. And I literally, when I say, I had to close down shop from everybody and focus. And God just laid it out. And it's just been coming and rolling and rolling.
That's beautiful.
Amazing. That's such an inspirational story, really.
Oh, really, I'm inspired.
Yes. Yeah, and we need to hear that, that we are not like, like tools or like decoration used by other people, but that we have the power to whatever vision we have, we can just make it happen. I just want to quickly open it up to the audience. If you have anything you want to ask, now is the time. You have these 4 amazing people that are known for their craft. Ask them anything, not anything, but connecting
come.
to the topic today. You can raise your hand, or you can also write it in the chat. It's I just cannot see everybody. Miriam, is anybody raising their hand? I can't see.
I don't think anybody's raising their hand. But this was a very in-depth conversation, so I think a lot of questions were answered.
Yeah, true. Maybe we missed something, or there's something that, yeah, okay. I mean, I feel that too. I feel very satisfied. And I feel like my questions were definitely answered. And yes, thank you again, everybody. Thank you, Naimah. Thank you, Amani. Thank you, Aitana, and thank you, Shanon, for being so open, so transparent, so honest, and give us a very deep insight, because I know it's a very personal topic, and it's a topic that can be related to pain, but that, can also be related to beauty and empowerment. And I think our main takeaway is like, be your most authentic self, and yeah, you will shine, despite and regardless what anybody is throwing at you. So, and Shanon is the best example. Just go out there, do your thing. Really, we need it.
Let me say this too. You guys, free yourself. I'm on a journey of freeing myself. And free yourself on your time, not someone else's. And it's never too late. I'm literally on a journey of freeing and unpacking my past, but I'm unpacking it so that it can benefit me in my future. I won't allow anybody to eat off my journey. If you can understand that. I'm writing a book.
Oh my God, I wanted to do that.
I'm doing, say it again.
I'm wanting to do that too. I'm gonna start writing a book.
Write it down. And it doesn't have to be published today. It don't have to be published tomorrow. It can be published later.
Mhm.
But write everything down. Your journey is your journey.
Yeah.
And it is as I'm writing it down, I'm freeing myself every step of the way. It's so good. If you haven't seen it, I was on VH1, My True Crime Story. I'm trying to do once the book is done, I'm gonna do a screenplay for a television show and a movie,
Oh my God.
because someone, an actress, a very known actress, when I was telling her my story, she was like, "I see it. Don't limit yourself." Because I was only thinking about a movie. She said, "I also see it as a TV show." So people have to pour into you like you pour into other people. But I'm gonna make sure that I don't sign my rights away, because I want to be rewarded for the journey. I went through the journey, and it ain't always good. But one thing about it, I've always seen the silver lining in it. I knew, even when I was going through the most darkest times of my life, that it was going to be valuable later. And
Period.
God has shown me. God has shown me. So y'all, just remember that even in your darkest moments, find that light in that dark moment, so that you can keep telling yourself, I'm going through this for something greater later.
Thank you so much. That was so important. Really, I'm going to take away
Me
everything
too.
you all said. This was very, very insightful and inspiring, really. Thank you for your honesty, for your wisdom, for
And
your
thank you too,
love.
Zoe. You was amazing.
Yes.
An amazing host.
Thank you. Yeah, I felt very comfortable with you guys.
Yeah, you made us feel
Opening up about my little story here, Everybody
Yeah.
now knows. Me and all YouTube knows.
They'll be
Yeah.
fine. Because
Yeah,
they
I
probably
know.
feeling the same way. So
Exactly.
you have freed somebody else.
Yes.
Exactly. That's why I was like, let me just be open, because somebody else be like, girl, I'm in the same spot. I need to have that conversation. So yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you to my Shapes and Shades team, to Essie, Miriam, Hannah, and Ray, who are in the back. And does
The
anybody
best.
want to say anything? Shapes and Shades? Does anybody want to say something?
We love Shapes and Shades.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this awesome panel. It was amazing.
Yes. And okay, I think I wish you all a good night. Stay safe, stay on your path. It's your journey. Don't let anybody else exploit it. It's your journey. You harvest what you put out there, and believe in yourself.
Period.
And what is for you will find you.
Period.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much.
So much.
Thank y'all for having
Bye,
us.
guys.
Bisous.
Bisu bisu.